Hey there, everybody. Welcome. We are live. It's good to see you. It always excites me when I come to do these live streams and there's already people waiting. I see you in the chat. Thank you for being here. We've got my brother Ben online as usual. You can say hey to Ben.
What's
He
up,
is
everybody?
out for all
I'm
of your
hanging out
comments.
here in outer
anything.
space,
Yeah, that's it.
checking out your guys' comments and passing them on down to Joe so he can send them back up here to Sector 5, and I'll get back here on the chat.
Totally. That's it. That's how it works. That's been a lifesaver for me. I don't know how many of you remember bearing with me through the earlier live streams when I was trying to do this. Without that, it was so hard. So he's a real lifesaver. And then, of course, we've got Brian off to my right. We don't see him on camera. He's the guy off camera, but just know that he's there.
What's up, Brian, in the background?
Brian, give a hello.
Hello.
That's
everybody in the chat
That's
loves
pretty
Brian.
much all he does. Yeah, and good friends. This is all made possible by the help. So big thank you, and thank you to all of you for being here, of course. So we're gonna paint hair. Now, I'm not gonna paint my hair. I'm not gonna paint on hair. I'm gonna paint hair. I'm gonna paint what is the right way to say that?
I think you're trying to say you did your hair for today's hair lesson.
No, I didn't. I didn't do it. I think age has really made my hair, but I found the haircut that goes with my age. It kind of straightened out. It flops over. I don't wash it too often, you know. So we're good.
It's arguable whether a little oil in the hair actually is good for the hair.
I think it is. I definitely.
Yeah.
I tend to really lean toward the natural side of things. I'm one of those annoying people that thinks that God designed a way for things to work and that nature has a good way of dealing with everything, but you know, it's a philosophy. Let's not argue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's paint some hair.
We're going to paint hair. We're going to talk about what causes the different looks. So I'll go ahead and go over here to my canvas and we'll talk about what causes the difference in different kinds of hair. If the hair is extra oily, if it's dry, if it's short, if it's fur, if it's bright colored, dark. Ask any of those questions. I would love to answer them. And there's a good chance you'll stump me. If you ask the right question, you might find me trying to do something that I don't know how to do, and it'll give me some good homework. I still haven't tried my hand at painting heat waves on that subject. You know, that was the last thing I got stumped on.
Well, it's just very subjective. Like you make some squigglies, and now you got heat waves. Who's gonna say those aren't heat waves? Those squigglies aren't right.
Well, yeah, you know, you can always justify whatever you want with artwork. You know, you can say, "Oh no, that's just my interpretation. There is no wrong here." You can if you want. That's a little bit harder to justify to a customer. That's when you get into a pickle. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'll talk as I paint about what we are seeing when we see hair and what we are seeing it as in shapes, colors, texture. So whenever we see something, you know, if all you know is you're seeing blonde hair, then you might just go to the color blonde and start making hair shapes. And that's not going to produce what you're looking at. So before we get started, I need something to put the hair on. So I'm using my favorite setup for doing skin tone. I'm going to real quickly put together the sloppiest face, a head. We're going to do a head to put hair on. So I'm going to put a person, and we're going to put eye sockets. So that's my red oxide here, our eye sockets. I'll scoot over a little so you can see better. Eye sockets here. I'm thinking facing a little bit to the left. We're going to need some yellow in here because I don't want such red tone in the skin. So as I get brighter with skin tone, this is going to be a very brief lesson on skin tone, which happens to be, you know, they both of course are from the same organic body, and so they're similar in color relationships. They're both made of translucent cells that are similar in color. So if you understand how to do hair well, you can take that same knowledge right over to doing skin tone.
You know, Juanita says that hair is the same color as hers today.
Oh yeah, this is not hair. This is not hair, right? Is your hair really this color? That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
that's
Cool.
like
So what I'm going to
Fire
do
engine
is put
red.
my this is a very rusty color I'm using to quickly create skin tone. And I'll put a little bit of black and white to make it more gray, but I want to show you that when I'm painting a face, I I just very quickly block out these larger shapes. I've got a nose right here. I'm going to put nostrils right here, and then we'll have the upper lip. I'll put a diagonal line because maybe the light comes this way, shines on the upper lip. I don't really have to put things in such nice placement. If I just have believable colors, it actually can be very, very fun how convincing and abstract, let's say impressionistic, probably impressionistic is a better description. It's very fun how much an impressionistic picture can look like something. Your imagination puts it together if it is done in believable colors. So you get believable colors in very roughly convincing shapes, and next thing you know, you've got enough to tell somebody, oh, it's just kind of a blurry, rough image of a person. So I'm starting with the shadowed eye sockets. We did this a little bit when we looked at how to paint eyes. And I'm going to go around here and use that kind of gray I made to deaden some of these soft, what's the right word? Take some of the brightness out of these colors. We'll make them a little bit more gray because I'm not trying to make a super red face here. I just need enough that the hair looks like it's on something. Let's put a little bit more shadow in here. So we'll put some here, and we won't be doing this for too long, but I want you to see this method of just blocking out these light and shadow areas in order to quickly produce the look of a human.
We're interested in seeing how to do wet hair as well as dry hair.
Okay.
If
Very
that's
good.
possible.
Yeah, we're gonna do
And also unconventional hair colors like blue.
very good. Okay. Yep, I agree. We should definitely cover that. Let's do it. And I'm going to put some more bright highlight on that yellow. Every time I get brighter, I get yellower. It doesn't mean it's yellow. It just means it has more yellow. Big difference, I don't want to. I remember when I first learned the relationship of brighter colors moving toward yellow on skin tone, and I used this super yellow color. It's one of my least favorite mural. I'm not going to say what mural it is because that's going to hurt someone's feelings, but it's one of my least favorite. I really wish that it would just go away. So
Mary, speaking of wishing it would go away, Mary C is talking about gray hair. Maybe we should use some gray hair.
Yeah, and don't wish for gray hair to go away.
That's what I'm saying. Too many people are trying to make it go away. I say go with the gray.
No,
let the gray stay. That's what I'm saying. Let the gray stay.
Let the gray stay. I like it. I do fancy the idea of continuing to look young, but there's nothing about youth that has more dignity than age. And so, not in my opinion, I am telling you my opinion. So I say, if you're asking what I think is most beautiful, it is letting your natural age show.
Oh, yeah.
Let it show. Don't change your face, please. I like your face.
I mean, like a leaf that is in the fall time is changing color and perhaps not as green and vibrant as it was, but how much worse is like a multicolored leaf that's painted green?
Yeah. Right. Well, people like to have their fun and change things, but I just want you to know that I think age is beautiful. I never wished for any person to look younger.
All this hair advice coming to you from a guy that shaves his head over here, so yeah.
Yeah, you're like that. Yeah. Yep, we Cornelius brothers, that's me and Ben. We Cornelius brothers, we have a habit of thinking we've got things figured out.
It's just questions are just so interesting to try and get at, it's part of what inclines you to do good at your work, though, I think, is that
totally
tendency to want to pick it at a thing and get at its essence.
Yeah, totally. That's
What
it.
else is this about in there? Like, how else does this work? You know?
Yep, that's it. So when you use colors like this, when I'm working from a mid-tone, I restore all the color before I go to light or shadow. I restore color and make sure I'm working from my brightest mid-tone color, my most colorful color. In other words, least amount of gray. And so whenever you do that, painting becomes more and more like sculpting, where your colors are either going back or coming forward. And so if there's something that I think is really valuable that I would love to just transfer into any learner's skill set, just put it in your tool belt, is the knowledge of colors that come forward or go back, and the relationship that causes that. Really, all it is adding the pattern. It's harmonizing maybe is a misleading word. Understanding the kind of color it needs to become as it gets brighter. That's what I'm talking about. So as this gets brighter, it gets just a touch yellower. And that all by itself is enough to pop these highlights. Actually, I think that I'm going overboard with that fancy explanation. When it comes to just going forward or going back, just a lighter version of the color all by itself, regardless of what kind of hue it's shifted toward, just a lighter version, I think will usually come forward. And so understanding that light and shadow are not just left side, right side, top side, bottom side, two-dimensional locations, but they are, what was I going to say? Lost my train of thought there. The light and shadow.
Well, if it helps,
Light and shadow are deep and shallow. That's what I was trying to say. Deep and shallow. So you actually make something go sunken in with that dark color, and these are not extremely different colors, So I'm sculpting this head in my imagination, and it feels like that. Sorry, Ben, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna tell you that it appears to our audience today that someone's ear is bleeding excessively.
That's true.
That's all I could see this whole time.
Brian's like, thank
Brian's
you
over
for
there trying
saying
to.
it. Thank you.
He's trying to be cool over there, like.
He's like, what? This is morbid. What are you painting? Oh,
What kind of show are we putting on today?
Yeah. What's funny is that I wasn't even close to seeing that. I didn't even see it. All I see is the mission. I'm like, I got to get this where I'm trying to get to. I'm going to get this face to be three-dimensional. I'm not even seeing that. That's pretty good. There's nothing like an unbiased second set of eyes. It's a really good habit to rest your eyes. Get your mind off of the work when a piece is important, when the outcome of it is important. It's really good to get your mind off of that and then come back with fresh eyes. That has helped me a number of times to see things, how to improve it. That's what I'm trying to say. Figure out how to improve a picture. Okay, we're going to take this color. I'm just borrowing colors, that are still a little bit tacky, getting my intermediate values. Like this is kind of in between light and shadow, so I'm going to create the nose bridge in there a little bit, no big deal. We've got a face. This is starting to be enough. We don't need to get too crazy with the details. I'm gonna put a more decent looking mouth, and maybe
it's interesting that you started with red. Donna is finding, not this isn't really hair related, but since you did this person, like starting with red is an interesting choice.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for noticing that. Now, I started with. I want to show you a comparison side by side. This is my bright red. This is actually my primary red. So this color is more of a rusty red oxide, I think it's commonly called. And so yeah, I do like to start with that because now this is preference. You can start with whatever colors you want, but that is the color that there's more of in the shadows. And I like to start with the shadows and then build the highlights out because, like I said, it feels like sculpting. And I like that I just like that experience. I really feel more like I'm in control of what's going on with the picture when I feel like I'm sculpting it. It's like, okay.
It really is interesting how horrifying this is appearing to
Oh yeah,
most
you
of
got
the
to get over
audience.
that. When you do people, you have to understand that the awkwardness in between
Yeah.
is always bad looking. And you know, I think many people probably can relate to that situation when you tried to do a person and someone noticed it was horrifying, and that discouraged you from doing people ever again. You know, I think
Yeah,
that
like
happens to a lot of people.
it's like scary movie, like a deformation of some sort, you
Yeah,
know, like
and then you feel like, oh yeah, I suck at
yeah,
doing
right.
people. And
Yeah.
it's very important as a learner to not sum up your where you're going by what you see in front of you. You know, I've done that, and I know how paralyzing it is. And so the things I show you, I can promise you that they are true and they work. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
But when you leave out information, or when you're in transition, you forget something, you don't put all the pieces together. Oftentimes we get a transitionary result, and things in transition are awkward and falling apart and dysfunctional. It takes intelligent, I'm going to plug a little bit, it takes intelligent design to get it to something functional. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for going there. It does, though. It takes me understanding the awkwardness. And so that's just a law of nature. Transitions are awkward. So if you want to really hone your skills and become more skilled, then you've got to be brave, get over that humiliation of having painted something horrific. You know, I'm here in front of all of you painting this scary face. And if it doesn't turn into something decent looking, then I'm honestly going to feel like I failed a little bit. And so that's what's at
Yeah,
stake
well,
for
it's
me.
interesting because the commentary is about how it appears like it provokes fear in them, like feelings of fear about the human image, you know? So it's not that you're bad at, it's not even that you're bad at painting a picture. It's
Yeah. But I remember, yeah, yeah,
people's response to a half-developed image
yeah,
is
yeah.
one of
It's
not
creepy.
understanding and therefore
Yeah.
probably fear, you know?
Well, I think you're right. You know, it's kind of like when you encounter a person that's very hard to read, it can be really uncomfortable. You know, you ever done that? You encounter somebody and you just can't tell why they're saying what they're saying, or why they're doing what, you just don't know. You don't get a read on it. And that is very, I find that very uncomfortable. I don't like
Right.
it. Okay, so I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm just putting last bits of highlight just so I've got some kind of a human form and the hair makes sense, you know, and so I have a decent thumbnail on my YouTube video.
The
You know,
all-important thumbnail.
yeah, you got to think about that. You know, you put a video up that's how to paint hair, and someone just sees blobs of color. They're like, oh yeah, it's just another guy in his garage pretending like he knows stuff. That's what it's gonna be.
Another guy in his garage.
Trying to make a living on YouTube without having skills. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so I'm just putting my last highlights on, you know, bumping the cheeks up where I want them to be. I want light coming from this side. It's a simple layout. We'll go bright right here, little chunk. That's a lower part of the cheek. Chunk, that's the upper part of the cheek. You know, these shapes are shapes I've done enough times that it's familiar territory. Now, here's what's fun about this is that this disturbing, we'll work on that ear later. This somewhat disturbing shape can be turned into a very masculine form or a very feminine form. I can put either one of those features that suit my purposes on there. So I'm going to stick with a more feminine form. It's something I don't do quite as often, probably.
So
I'm gonna
Scarlett
put
is
some-
asking, what would you do if you get done painting and then come back and something's wrong, like the eye is way off or something?
Well, it happens all the time. That's I'm glad you bring that up. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Go away from your painting and come back, because I'll be glad that I went away and came back. And I rely on you all during these live streams. I'm really relying on you to tell me when things are crooked. You know, I'm not above it by a long shot. And so coming back, your view is just so refreshed. You know, it's just such a cool thing that things will pop out to you that didn't pop out. You'll see crookedness that you didn't see. I think that's why the old holding it up to a mirror trick works well, because
Yeah.
it shows you an image you haven't been staring at. The mirror image is not ingrained in your mind, and so you get something that is a fresh new image, and you really just see it for face. That immediate impression tells you right away, oh, it's crooked. You know, it stands out in a new way. Okay, now I'm going to just put some, what color should the eyes be? What do you think? What do you think? Let's not do something too creepy. Let's make it a little less creepy. How about? Let's
Less creepy.
We've got a
brown
somewhat
eyes.
dark complexion. Let's go with brown eyes.
They write songs about people with brown eyes.
Yeah. Hey, why don't we go?
Yeah, man.
Okay, let's go. Bum, 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 bum. Uh-oh, it's going to be a licensing issue on YouTube if I sing too much of any song. I love to hum songs, and we're from a musical family, and we love just seeing when songs come to mind. If anyone says anything that's been in a song ever, it gets sung on the spot.
Yeah, it's a problem. Yep, our dad used to get in trouble for bringing a trumpet to family occasions, like a dinner party. Dad shows up with a trumpet.
They're like, what? What are you gonna do with it?
What is with the guy with the trumpet at dinner? Yep, that was our father.
Now my hands are not steady, but I have discovered something interesting. My hands are definitely more steady when they stay in motion. So the art of hitting a moving target is ever important in my work. So we're gonna do that. Put some eyes in there. Let's put a little dab. Here's where we can just really slow down and go dunk, dunk. Put some reflection in. Not as creepy. It's getting less creepy. Let's see if I can do it without bracing my hand. Ready?
Well, there's nothing more creepy than humanoid, or like pseudo-human. Like monkeys creep me out. If you ever seen monkeys, they're all
kind of
very
human.
similar.
Very
similar, but definitely not human. So this painting, you're like, I mean, it's not
exactly,
but it's that same reason.
Yep, I agree totally. Okay, let's do some real quick eyebrows too. We've got no eyebrows, and if we're going to put a bunch of hair on it, then I think eyebrows would be a good fit as well. Now, if you don't have eyebrows, that's okay. I think you look great anyway. We're just doing that because we want to do hair. Okay, that's all we need. Just the right color to just say they're there, because this video is not about how to paint a face, although it's probably better than the face I painted in the how to draw eyes. If we're being honest. Okay, I'm going to put some just slight shadows here where I might have the eyelashes. We're just going to do a quick little like this, just get a little bit. Look how that relaxes that upper side of the eyelid. Look at that. Just a messy shadow puts so much less creepy factor on the eye. Shadow there, shadow there. So as you start to understand that there are many parts, I just want to encourage a little bit. When you do a face and it looks real creepy and you're like, man, why is my face coming out so weird looking? Missing parts, poorly defined parts, and that's something that can be fixed simply by.
Bernice Rogers Booker says maybe you've been watching too many horror movies.
No, I can't. I actually can't. I know you're just joking, but I actually am terrified. My imagination is too vivid. It makes going to bed a terrible experience if I watch horror movies.
Yep, same. Can't do it.
Yeah. We're not all made the same, and I just came to the age where I said, I'm not going to pretend anymore. I'm not a horror movie guy.
I mean, it's interesting that it's maybe viewed as some sort of a weakness to not be able to endure a horrible movie, but to me it seems like everything is functioning well within me, that I am disturbed by disturbing content.
It's disturbing content, yeah. That's kind of how I feel. I'm like, am I supposed to be clapping my hands while this is happening?
Yeah, no, I wear it. I wear it proudly. You know, I'm like, yeah, that's really disturbing. I'm not gonna sleep much tonight.
Yeah, yeah, good for you. That's how I feel too. Okay, I keep saying we're going to move on to the hair, and then I'm like, hey, I like this, but it's, you can fall in love. You don't fall in love with your. Here's a lesson.
Well, we've arrived at an interesting uh, discussion here about the creative process, honestly, and how it takes a lot of wonky shape along the way.
It does. That's it.
You know,
That's it. Awkward. Awkward is the word.
you were kind of talking about some creative resilience. It felt like,
Oh yeah,
taking
yeah.
people's feedback and comments, but not letting it make you stop the process entirely.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Well said. Yeah, it is the instinct to shy away when you realize that you're doing something that is, well, you feel embarrassed. Like, who likes to keep going when they're starting to feel embarrassed about what they're doing? But if you want to be in the creative business, it's important to have a thick skin in regards to that. Build up.
Hey, Scarlett says, is it mohawk time?
Okay, yes it is. It's mohawk time. We're going to do it. Okay, let me just finish up the light on the forehead. Let's get a little bit brighter here. Okay, she was the first one to say a hairstyle, so we're going to do it. We're going to go right up here. Get
Wet.
this nice
We had
and
wet
in.
too, so you do a wet mohawk.
Yeah, wet.
I guess mohawk really is the wet look already.
Yeah, you got to put product in it to get it to stand way up.
Nobody's got like a
Yeah.
fluffy.
No, I don't think so. But the question remains: what do you know if you saw one that if someone just did a fresh dip in like oil, and just soaked it? It's just soaked. Or a mohawk. Let's say the mohawk stays intact, but the person just took a dunk in the river. I think you would know. And so then the more scientific question: how would you know? What are the patterns that tell you? Those are the kind of questions that I constantly ask in order to be more proficient in my work. And so contrast is what we want to see if it's wet. Lower contrast is what we want to see if it's not. But either way, we're going to do very similar color relationships. Okay, so here we've got our nice bright forehead. Let's go chunk, chunk. We got to put it in balance with the cheeks. Chunk on the nose. Chunk, chunk. Okay, that's the face. We got a face. Now, let's put a mohawk. What color is the mohawk? Just get me a color. Get me a color. And then I'm going to go, I'm going to put it whatever color you say, that's the color it's going to be.
Well, we've had previous requests for blue.
Blue it is. We're going to do blue hair. I'm going to rinse my brush out. These colors are going to turn my blue into kind of a muddy color. So this is going to be like blue, not the kind of blue that you get when you try this at home by yourself. I've tried blue hair. It's hard. It's hard to accomplish.
Yeah, we've also got a request for some black, like
we'll do more than one thing.
contrast,
Yeah,
shiny.
We'll do all kinds of stuff. We're gonna have.
But we
some
could
fun.
even make the blue like a glossy blue,
Okay, let's do it. Okay.
Wet looking blue.
Blue is one of the easier colors because it already shifts its hue so much when you add white to it. All colors don't shift their hue so much, but when blue, because of the nature of the common pigment, not all blues. A cobalt blue is probably not what I'm talking about. But this phthalo blue happens to really shift to a greener color when you lighten it with white. And that's exactly what I want. I want to do the same thing that I do with waves. So the first thing I'll do is just create the shapes that I want to see. And let's do a real quick transition. Let's take that blue and I'll add this dark, some kind of a dark red orange is just perfect for blending the blue into the head. So let's make a hairline. Let's go like this. Like this. We'll go down here, get maybe a little bit of a widow's peak. And so I just want a gradient that does not turn green. Blue wants to turn green. It's going to take any chance it can get to turn green. So I can't give it a color just like the skin tone. I got to give it something that is more red so that it can't turn green. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody? That is one thing that was very helpful for me to learn early on, was that I just had to lean closer to red than what I wanted the end result to be in order to blend a blue to another color without it going green. Paint just is like that. So I'm going to go like this. Just pull it right down to that edge. Okay, we've got our shape. And then we want to take some brighter color. Let's just take white. This, now normally I might need to add just a touch of green, but because this doesn't do that, I don't need to. So hair has one area that is in your reflection zone. It's where, okay, just like the eyeballs have one spot on the eyeball that are sending that bright white reflection back to me. Every hair has one area where it's reflecting a lot of light and sending it back to me. It's not the whole thing. It's not just the high spots. It's everything at a common angle. So what you have is many things side by side going the same direction. So that's why we might not want to take the brightest color all the way to the tippy top of each spike. So let's take white and just go like this, somewhere, not all the way to the edge either. We can go like this, do a light color. Now, like I said, remember, blue naturally shifts more turquoise, and that's toward green as it gets lighter. So I actually need very little alteration of the colors. I just need to control where my bright spots are. So I'm going to put the bright spots as to the best of my ability, to the best of my imagination, in a similar area, three-dimensionally speaking, that similar angle in relationship to my view. So whatever is facing this same angle, whatever angle I imagine that being, everything else facing that angle. So for instance, I'm not going to go over to the backside of the head and put it on the bottom of the spikes. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to keep the highlight area all in similar places, wherever it is. So each spike I'll treat individually because they all are a clump of hair in a common direction. So hair in a common direction, you can do this technique of choosing your light spot and then dragging your shadows right into that light spot. I do the same thing when I draw it with pencil. I'll take the dark and very carefully draw every stroke exactly toward the opposing strokes, because here's something that we underestimate is the power of texture. So if I have bright highlights, that I'm just going to call these highlights, these lighter areas, if the lines get a little bit crooked, then all of a sudden it looks like something else besides millions of hairs going the same direction. So I have to be really careful about the texture. I want to be careful to drag all of my shadows, not just approximately, but exactly toward the opposing stripes. So look how each spike, I'm taking that, well, I'm being extreme with my explanation, but that's just to emphasize that it is important.
And that would apply to any kind of hairstyle too, right? Not just
yes, any hair going a common direction, so it gets a little more complex when you're talking about real chaotic hair, real curly hair. It gets more complex, but when hair is in clumps going a common direction, this is a great beginning place to practice, to learn hair and how to experience this pattern working. Okay, we got bright blue hair. We're going to go like this. Now, watch how I can increase the translucent factor. All right, hold on. I'm going to try just kind of dragging my brush. The paint is getting thicker, and that's an ideal time to just drag a brush lightly across areas, and it just pulls all the big shapes together. Not an easy technique, but you get a smoother look. So now the hairs maybe look a little bit finer. And what I'm going to do is now add my favorite color to add to everything. Guess what it is? Guess what my favorite color to add to everything is? Magenta. Okay. So, by the way, Brian, I don't think we got a shot of the materials yet on the table. Just for anybody that doesn't know already, I'm working out of these house paints. And so these colors here, what I'm dipping into, and these are from different paint stores. I think we have a little bit of everything. We got Dunn Edwards, Sherwin-Williams, Home Depots. Who knows what this is? A local, PPG. We got
Your neighbor Fred's garage.
Yeah. And I kind of like when they sit for a long time, they get heavier, and it almost feels like they handle a little more like the tubes when they start to thicken from sitting for months. But you got to work fast. They dry fast too. So these are the paints I'm dipping into.
One size brush too the whole time, right? You're not switching.
Yeah. For this, I would definitely switch if this was an important job to exact some details, But because the tiny details are not as important on this, the most important detail is what I'm doing right this second, and that is making sure that the grain has a consistent flow. If I start making inconsistencies in that, in how these lines point right to each other, then it will immediately affect how believable this reflection spot on each clump is. Okay, so what I did was enhanced the hue shift. So now I went all the way to a more purple blue after doing the more turquoise blue. And so so this is a little bit more like looking through a bottle of soap or some blue dyed pigment. So you can control the amount of that transparent look you have. I'm gonna put this closer to the middle too. I think I went too close to the edges on these. So let's just go right in the middle with these bright spots. Chunk, chunk, like that. And then I'm gonna drag my brush across just to get the grain to match, like this. So hair is translucent, and by shifting that hue toward the green as it gets brighter, I get that translucent look. And so we can have some fun and do hair clumps in all kinds of different directions with that. Now it doesn't have to go, I wanted to show you an example of how I could go more extreme with that effect. But I can go less extreme too. Let's use black in the blue. Let's go real dark. Now we're gonna make the hair look more wet by boosting the contrast. So we're gonna go black in all these darker colors, but not all the way up. It's going to look a lot more glossy. It'll look more like it has product on it, whatever it is, just by having the darker. The more extreme contrast is the key component of the wet look. That is the key component. No question about it. If you raise up that contrast between the highlights and these darker, more saturated, or just highlights in the shadows, that contrast will give you that more watery, that reflective look that things have when they're wet.
So let's check out like maybe black or like a dark brown. Like people want to
yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good.
To more common, or maybe some fur on some animals.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick finish on this just to explain a couple more key components that will carry over into the other things. I'm going to get gray. So now, remember, we're looking at what we're saying this is a whole bunch of things going the same way. So over on the far edge, we got a whole bunch of hairs that we're seeing the gray reflection of the background. So I can go like this, like this, like this, like this. So look what this gray edge starts to do for my reflective look. See how that gray edge starts to add a component of more complex lighting and reflection on there. Maybe if we'll go a little lighter so you can really see the contrast. We'll go like this, maybe a little bit in here. We got a few hairs going up from the edge of the mohawk. Like this. Okay, and that is how I would handle doing blue hair. And then we'll go down here and we'll put that dark color. We'll put
that's like electric blue, man. That's not just blue.
Yeah. This is the kind of blue you hope for when you dye your hair blue, like this. So I need to have lots of color as I enter the light as the dark starts getting lighter, I have to make sure that it doesn't lose color because hair is translucent. So we want to see an increasing intensity of color as it goes into the light. So, you know, we're getting all kinds of crazy colors. We'll just do a couple more little spikies on this character. And I'll just leave an impressionistic look. We'll just kind of drag it out like this. Messy hair. Like that. Starting to look like one of those anime characters, isn't it? Starting to look kind of
Yeah,
like
maybe we can clean up the anime character and get him a job with
Yeah.
a normal haircut.
Yeah. Oh, a song's coming to mind. See, it's one of those moments when I'm wanting to sing the old song.
Don't do it.
I won't. I won't do it. Okay. So I put my red and yellow on there. I'm just improving the hairline. We're adding that to blend it all. We go, this is an important part of doing hair, is understanding how to make this very small gradient that meets the skin. And so understanding what colors to mix. Usually with skin, I'm using a deeper red, regardless of the hair. I'll end up using hair color. I'll end up using a deeper red just to create that shadow, just like I did on all of these shadows here. Okay, enough of this.
Hey,
Okay, what are we doing next?
Fly Pontes from Portugal loves it.
Hey, all right, cool.
Punk hair, they say, and then
Yeah,
Baron von
Okay.
Tackle Cat says
Okay.
Sonic hair.
Hey, let's real quick make this a more female face. This is how you do it. Watch.
So we're gonna do that and then give her black hair.
Yeah. Well, I see. I just realized that I said, hey, I'm gonna lean a little bit more toward the feminine face. I wanted to see, and I want to see what it looks like, the blue hair.
All right, stay tuned, everybody. While Mural Joe turns
Yeah, well, because
punk
this is an
dude
opportunity, you know.
into brunette female.
Well, I also saw that my face is kind of crooked, and it's nice to clean up the edge. So watch this. Forehead, easy on the depth of the eye socket. We're going to smooth it out. We're going to shrink it. Smaller face bones. We're going to go down like this. We're going to shrink the chin. Also, we're going to go in like this. Like this. Let's cut that chin off. Like this. And go like this. Bring this down here. Zoop, like that. And we'll go back up right here. Let's get rid of the blood drip too. We don't
While
wanna see
Joe's
that.
cleaning up the murder scene here, I want to remind everybody that he can see your work and your comments if you email them
Yeah. Send us some
info
stuff to look at.
at muraljoe.com. info@muraljoe.com.
All right, there we go. A little bit less of a masculine face just by shrinking the face bones like that. That's all it takes. So you can totally control that. Maybe I'll add a few finishing touches later on after I do some different hair colors. So what did you say? Black? Are we doing black hair?
Yeah, black hair
Yeah,
or like
okay.
a real dark brown.
All right. And what's the style? What style are we going for? We're just gonna do some.
You know, we want applicable, right? So let's say
Yeah, okay.
like it's a woman who's going to get a job.
Yeah. All right. Gotcha. Okay. Now we're gonna get into my prejudices and get me in trouble.
Oh, okay.
Well,
wait,
this is
wait.
what a girl needs to look like to get a job.
is-
All right, no more ordinary.
It's running over my head too.
Yeah,
to be
right.
honest.
Well, this is.
I'm gonna say let's go for some like shoulder length, kind of wavy.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, you know, maybe they went to a salon recently.
Let's get rid
They
of
had
these big spikes.
they got a blowout, I think is what it's called.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
I got the blow dryer out and
Oh, okay, I got
volumized it. You know,
Okay. Let's do that. That'll be fun.
put a brush in there.
Okay,
And,
forgive me for my very crude understanding of these kinds of hairstyles, but I'm gonna do my best. We're gonna go down like this, kind of a basic outline. You know, we want volume. It's gonna go out over the ears, like this. Okay, it's gonna go up too. We gotta go up off the head, and so, you know, there's just one style. We're just doing one style. So I'll start with my dark shadow color, and we'll go down like this, and we'll go like this, and then down like this. All right, it's already becoming something. Look at that. And so this is a good topic. Whoever brought this up, thank you. We do need to cover this. Black hair is a tricky subject because what colors do you highlight black hair with in order to maintain the look of hair? It always ends up looking like some other material when you add the other highlight colors to it. So let's do our quick little
Donna was
thing.
saying that she adds blue, purple, green, and white to the black.
I could see that. I could see that. You get some really cool reflections that way. Okay, so we're going to do that plus some other things in order to get a nice glowing translucent look in the hair. And so that's good because black is a neutral color, meaning equal amounts of colors in the spectrum. I don't like arguments about what's a color and what's not. And when I say any fancy word from art school, I like to define what it means. So neutral, meaning not having more of any particular color of the rainbow. And so we're going to take this and create a shadow under the hair so that it doesn't just go down and out, it comes forward and off of the surface. So we're going to go like this, drag the black down into that. Maybe here you can see it connecting with the head. You know, we can bring it down like that. And then maybe here it flows over and blocks an amount. Okay, it's crude, but that will work for our purposes. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of a brown to put a highlight on this hair. It's not going to be an extreme brown, and there is definitely a very good use of those colors like purple, blue, the colors. So I think I didn't complete my thought about the black being a neutral. It will show whatever colors are in the environment. So if you've got a blue sky overhead and someone's hair is very black, it just might appear blue where it's reflecting. But I want to get into when you have colors in the hair, because you know we all know that black hair oftentimes still has a little bit of color to it. So I added a tiny bit of brown. It's a gray brown. And I'm just choosing a place to put the light. This is just a good place to put a few little spots. Now that feels a little bit colorless to me. I'm going to get a bit more color where it's going into the black. So this balance is a big difference maker. Just how much color. It only takes a tiny bit. I go like this. So because that is within a gradient, that's the only reason that it has the potential to take on a lifelike look, is because I make sure that when this color connects with the black, it has color in between that bright reflection in here, because light goes into hair. If you see hair under a microscope, it's almost colorless. You know, it's like similar to any translucent object. Light goes in, comes back out with color, because the translucent object filters it on the way back out, or the way in and out, whatever. When light goes through things, it changes to a color. So I'm going to go over this a few times, and I'll get just a bit more blending between my color and my white that I put in there. But if I go too much, I'll begin to lose the look that I started with. So this is very much a balancing act of having enough color between your brightest spot and your darkest spot, but not too much. So I'll stop while I'm ahead here, and we'll just do that for that particular area, that one spot of reflection. Now let's say that there's a different section. Let's just put another section of hair that goes back on top of this. Let's take this black. We'll just put a nice dark black stripe going like this. There's something I see a lot. It goes up, then down and back like this. I love that shape. I'm a lover of shapes, and I just love that shape. Now I've made hair go a different direction, and so I need to now adjust the way the highlight looks. So we're going to go like this. We'll leave a shadow. Go like this. There we've got our black. Now I'm going to grab my brown, and I just made that brown with a little bit of these colors here. Let's just grab these and go like that. And then let's put some white right in there. We'll go like that. Look, it almost looks like something just like that, but I'm going to work on it a little more. get some color in between the black and white. Then I'll just kind of run it together a little bit like this. Uh-oh, I accidentally hit that red right there. Look at that. It's ruined.
You know, there's some interest in what wind does to hair. You know, as I see you kind of doing that hair out to the side, you know.
Ah, okay, yeah, very good. Oh,
And
that's
then
good.
also how different lighting scenarios might change the
Yeah, okay,
contrasts
let's
you're
talk
doing,
about
like
that.
a sunny
Yeah.
day, cloudy day.
Okay, so that's a very good question. So if I have a cloudy day, then I probably don't want to see nearly as much of the hue shifting and all that bright. So if the sun is shining a bright white light, it is going to make that hair as colorful as it can be. Or let's say that you've got orange light shining on the hair. If that hair has any orange in it, the orange is going to pop. So yes, thinking about that really makes a difference. A cloudy day, you might choose to go more subtle on this effect. So perhaps I'm doing something under soft studio lighting right now, as opposed to real vivid, bright colors that I might choose if we wanted it to look like it was more like what you're describing. Yeah, super bright colors like on a sunny day. Okay, so now I'll do another clump here. So we've got that hair. So it's going a different direction. And so I'm just imagining that if the hair is, let's get a little more of the brown, and maybe right in here when it goes more straight back, I'm going to put that same, because see, I've kind of stated right here that the light is shining this way, bouncing off. So if it's shining this way, then it's just how you three-dimensionally imagine the light hitting a similar angle. So let's make it hitting right about here. And so what I'll do is I'll create my lines. I'll just get my lines with the black first. Let me borrow some of this black and just go like that. There, see how that just puts some color in there? And then that color is a good spot to go zoop, 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 zoop. Like this. I'm sorry, I'm making that noise again.
The noises are awesome, dude. Make noises. Also, Grace Artistry is asking about like if it was backlit. How would you do it if it was backlit, like sun shining through?
Great question.
Sun shining through hair blowing in the wind.
Okay, I like this. You're really giving me a run for my money. Okay, so to be backlit, we have to have enough. You just want the, well, better to paint it than to just explain it. So let's touch on those other things first, and then we'll do backlit as the final touch. That's kind of a last thing that I want to get on this. So
yeah, it's a big ask, but we'll get there.
No, we can do it. Backlit's not hard. It's actually simpler than you might think. We just have to use tons of color moving to a bright white. But I'm going to do an area that is just reflective, just reflecting soft light. Now, so let's go in here, and where we have the edge of the hair going to black, let's go like this with this gray. And see how that gray comes in, meets the, well, it's going to be easier to see when I get a background that actually lets it stand out. But any hair that is just really wrapping around the back side of the head is a good place to put just a little bit of that gray, because you're seeing enough of those angles for it to actually reflect the background. So this is where we get into reflecting the environment, and you can actually represent the colors. They might be shades of green, might be purple, might be you might be in a nightclub where you have lots of different colored lights, and so you can put any colors in these
love lots of colored lights.
Yeah, so in these specific areas that are going to your far edges, those are where you really expect to see more of that. Unless you're colored lighting, you want to be very extreme, trial and error. But I'm just showing you some common placement. Okay, so then let's go down here and start adding some curls and waves, because we were talking about that particular kind of hairstyle. So the neck might be like right in here, so the hair comes out from under it. So let's just imagine a curl that maybe comes in here, comes down like this, and I'm thinking it goes this way. So let's just real quick take some of that brown color, put some water in the brush, and just go zoop, like that. Okay, let's put a little bit of white in the middle of that, zoop, like that, And then let's just take the black and try not to really run through it all, just a little bit to try to show that direction. And then let's do another one right under it. Let's go like this. Let's do black. And you can oftentimes have a darker, see how you can kind of see that outline now against that lighter gray? Because maybe the hair behind it is catching light a little differently, a little lighter color as it goes back and around. So let's do the same thing again. Let's get a brown. We got that red. We've got this yellow. That's going to create an orange that when it hits black becomes a brown, like this. And then we'll take white and put it on there, like that. Okay, and then we've got another little curl. Let's take the black and drag it in there. I lost a little color on that. This is only one way to execute this principle, this look. But remember, this is the understanding that as it goes to these lighter colors, the color itself is adjusting, it's changing. So that's really the thing that I want to go away with, is that the hair, as I put these highlights in, and as I do a cross section of highlight across commonly angled hair, I want to understand that I have to make sure I have that color to get the look of translucency. I'm going to do another wave that kind of comes out this way. So at this point, I'm just making stuff up. I'm just doing whatever.
Yeah. What about other types of hair, like other ethnicities of human hair?
Okay, let's get into it. Let's do a little bit of that.
There's like this is pretty straight and wavy. What about like more curly, and then what about super duper curly?
Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna go like this. Create that look right there. And so now let's say that you want a really backlit head. So before I go into the other styles, let's go ahead and do the backlit look on this. So hopefully you've seen enough that I don't have to. Oh, you know what? I just want to show you one more. This is valuable here. Forgive me for drawing this out long, but I want to show you how you can make a part. And then the way you can create that part is understanding that one side of the part maybe faces a color of light. So I can take this brown right here. Remember how we did the brown for the highlight? So watch, I can go like this. Like this. Let's do a little bit of yellow in there and go like that, and then a little bit of white. Okay, I'm just gonna pre-mix it to be a very light gold brown, hopefully, and go. It's messy, but look how it does it. It does that trick. You get that part right away. Look. Okay, let's put a little more color in here with what's left in my brush. Right in between the light and shadow. Let's go in here, a little bit here, like that. Okay, so now let's do that backlit look. Let's take black to brown. So we'll take this black color and we'll add brown to it. Let's take this and a little bit of yellow, create that brown. And we'll go around this head like this. Okay. And we're going to go like that and add a little bit of color, but we don't need a ton. Okay, so then we're going to take white. We're going to create really thin little bits. We just want tiny bits of hair, especially if it's all going the same direction like this. We don't need much at all. Okay, so that bright color around the edge is going to give me the backlit look. But if the hair is really nice hair and it's all going the same direction, I might have hardly any of it at all. So I'm going to take the black and I'm just going to carry that black right up to my gradient and make this whole border very, very thin. So the trick is the gradient. That is the key. Don't miss the gradient. So I think in my experience viewing artwork, gradients are like the super powerful tool that artists don't use and miss out on effects. But we actually use our perception of gradients is constantly telling us what things are. It's telling you if something is reflective or translucent. That's all.
Yeah,
based
that
on
hair's
gradients.
looking great, man. I'm ready to go purchase whatever product
That's thicker.
is in this
That's
person's
it.
hair.
All right, thanks for that. Okay, so that
And we've
backlit
also got
look.
requests to put a beard on this one too, so you do with that whatever you want.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can put a beard. We did the feminine look. Let's
Are there a lot of people out there who are like, you know, what I'd really like to learn from Joe today is
it's how to put a beard on
this
something that
person?
already looks female.
I don't know. I think the jury's out on that one.
Yeah. Okay, here, let's go like this. Neck, we need a neck. Let's put that darker shadow in there. We'll take this down here. And we've got my character looking more upward now. Let's go like this. Let's take some of the intensity out of that color with some black. We want a shadowed look, not a bloody look. So let's go like this. And then let's bring it over here. And we'll go like that. The chin's getting smaller, smaller. As the chin gets smaller, the look gets less masculine. So let's put some yellow and white where that highlight would be. Maybe right in here, some light starts hitting the skin tone. And so I'll put yellow first, then my white to lighten it up. And so then we can get a little bit of three-dimensional look to our neck here as well.
Hey, while you're putting the neck on this here person, La Mega says, hey, I just wanted to say how much you've helped me and inspired me over the years.
Sweet.
I've gotten one of your video tutorials and hope to keep getting more. Thank you with a big red heart.
Oh,
Got
nice.
those
Thank you for
over
saying
at
that.
muraljoe.com.
Sweet. Thank you. That means a lot to me when you take the time to say that. Hopefully that lets other people know that I'm offering the real, genuine things that I've used to do well in my work. It's not just a sales pitch. I really am trying to give helpful material here. So thank you for validating me in that way. I'm really honored. Okay, we're gonna go like this. Cut off some of that. Bring that down there. Okay, there's a neck. It's not a perfect neck, but hey, it's a neck. What is a perfect neck? Okay. So now, shall we put a beard? Are we trying to do a beard? I mean, that's cool.
I mean,
cool
a
if we do that.
beard's cool. Some eyelashes have also been requested.
Yeah. We can do some real quick eyelashes.
You know, we could also do like a real different hairstyle. You know, like
Let's do
you know.
it. Let's do a real different hairstyle. I like that idea, but we already
like
have
what if somebody's got real tight curly hair? You know.
This is really hard. I gotta concentrate. Like my most concentrated concentration ever.
Yeah, everybody be quiet in the chat room while Joe puts eyelashes on this business time.
So bad. So bad. There's a nice thing about water.
Man.
Let's try it again.
You know, and people have been talking about how good you are with a big old brush. They're like, gosh, he never uses a small brush. How does he do it all with such a big brush? So,
because I
everyone,
trick the eye.
This is how.
That's me having a really hard time getting those in the right place.
Not everything
You're
is
welcome.
so easily done.
You're
with a big
welcome
old
for
brush.
that little bit of entertainment. Okay, even that messy rendition looks like it. So the trick to eyelashes really is more in the shadows. I have the brown shadows. I have the right shadows behind it to make it feel like they come out and off, because it first goes to the brown, then to the black. So getting just the right shape, well, hey, that's up to you. I'm sure that many of you can do a better job than I can with that. Actually, if it was really important, I'd just really take my time and, spend some time doing little teensy weensy things like that. But
so this is a great question. I'll interrupt you from I am to bear.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
It's a good time to say, does Joe consider himself a perfectionist?
I do, yeah. But it's a false sense of perfection. I'm just looking for a towel to wipe my rag on. I forgot to put one on my little station here, but we'll be fine with that one. Yes, I consider myself a perfectionist. I do. Hopelessly perfectionistic, you know, to the point of always wanting to go back and edit old work, wanting to go back to murals I painted 10 years ago. You know, it's a problem. I think it's very important to control that. Self-control is a big deal in my life. I have to exercise that because I would spend my whole life editing my past instead of creating my future if I didn't control that aspect. So it's a discipline. Don't get caught up in the perfectionism when it's not what the job calls for. Okay, I'm just going like this. And as we are talking about it, I'm trying to perfect the jawline on this character. There we go. Okay, now let's do something else. Different hair. Okay, so we said, what did we say, Ben? If we had like tight curls, we doing tight
Yeah,
curls?
what if this person went and got themselves like a real tight perm, or
Okay, very good, very good. We're gonna take the.
what if they were native to the continent of Africa, or what
Okay,
if,
very good. Let's do that. Let's do that. So let's cut off the unwanted hair. Let's give this character a haircut. And we're gonna go like this. My brush is getting all hammered here. I'm gonna throw this one in the trash when we're done. I hate misshapen brushes. They're not perfect enough. Okay, let's go like this.
they're not perfect enough?
I just had to throw
You
that
know,
in
perfect enough. I think there's a lot in that.
there. Uh-oh, philosophical flaw in my statement.
Well,
It's
no,
good.
actually, it is the answer, you know, because I was about to chime in earlier about, you know, perfection is honestly a myth because there's not one thing that exists that is without flaw, you know,
Yeah,
at least nothing that humans have to do with. And so,
yeah.
perfect enough as a creed will save you a lot of heartbreak ever
Ah.
trying to find that unicorn.
Yeah,
That it's
very
not,
good.
it's mythical. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Good statement. Good statement. We got to remember that, you know, remember that it is an ever evasive goal that just kind of keeps running away from you. Okay, now look how that changed the hairstyle. Check that out.
I was gonna say that's a nice. I mean,
It's a different look. It's like hair that lays flatter now. It doesn't have all the body.
Yeah,
You know? So I kind of
yeah.
cut it off right there because we're starting with the more bald head shape now. We're gonna go up here. I'm looking at where I put the ear to judge where I need to cut this off to.
you know, Mary C says she gets psyched out too much before even starting with this stuff
Yeah.
about perfection. You know, like what do you do about paralysis by analysis? How do you break that?
Oh, get in a boat, take a look at the wake as you blast off across a lake. Look at all that water. Or watch my video. We're actually in the boat. There's a little bit of cool footage from Ben on the wake.
Yeah, glassy lake.
And tell yourself
Glassy
100
lake.
times in a row, that is my life. Do you want to go back and try to adjust that wake, or do you want to just move forward? That's what you got to do. You just got to discipline yourself to see it in a light that forces you to say, this makes no sense. I've got to move forward.
So if you don't have a boat,
You can't. If you don't have a boat, you just can't. You know?
I mean, how do you learn? How do you learn the lesson? Is this only a lesson that boat people get to
Yeah,
learn?
unfortunately, that is the truth of the matter.
Sorry, Mary Seeds.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
for boat people.
Okay, it's only for boat people. Okay, I'm not even going to bother trying to do the time.
She's doomed. She
Yeah,
says.
yeah. No.
We
Okay. So hopefully you take my statement very, very much with some scrutiny, that you're understanding that it's a choice to really develop discipline. And man, I can empathize with that. I can totally empathize with just trying not to do the wrong thing. So much so, I remember when my reputation mattered a whole lot more, and I was like really terrified. And then I'd have people watching, and I'd be staring at a surface for quite a long time, trying not to make mistakes before I even did anything at all, trying to make sure that there's not mistakes. So, I think it really does just take the comfortable proverbial step of faith. So what I'm going to do is put the teensy tiny tight curls in my hands, probably not even steady enough, but I'm going to employ the same principle here that we've been talking about all this time, that it is just and I'm just going to fake this one. That's the hairline right there. And what I'll do is put a little bit of brown on each one. I'm just going to go across it. And if your hand is more steady than mine, you might be better at this than me. And we're going to create a lighter brown. It doesn't have to be a super vivid brown because the hair really is black. It's not, it's not so colorful, but sunlight can bring out some color. So I'll make this very gray brown. And I'm just going to go like this, little curled swoops to the best of my ability. I'm just going to make little curled swoops. On top of those little curled swoops, I'll then choose where I want my light coming from. I'm going to break some rules here, okay? Don't get mad at me. Some troll is going to come in later and say, you're inconsistent with your light source. But I'm just going to go ahead and put the highlight coming from...
Trolls? You hear that, would-be trolls?
Yes.
Okay, stay away with all of your...
Take a brighter color. No, I'll put them side by side so you can see. Yeah, leave me alone. Come on. I'm trying. I'm going to make my bright highlight color, and it's not going to be white. Not white. We're just going to do little bits within my already existing highlight areas. So, and we'll even go darker than that. Let's go a little darker so that it's not too extreme. See how it comes forward? So this is what I'm talking about when I say eyes are very sensitive to gradients. This has such a different look than if I did not put the dark brown on before the light brown. And I'm practically covering the dark brown, but I'm just touching lighter. I'm touching, a lighter touch makes a smaller shape. That all by itself, we can interpret little blobs of paint as hair because the color relationship and the expectation for what those shapes are, where they are. Imagination fills in the blanks and you've got hair. So it doesn't have to be a super technical, difficult job. We start with the darker brown, we go like this, and of course, if this was wet hair, so let's say we have this dark black hair and all these tight little curls, and we want to make it like they just got out of a lake, we're going to go like this here. Here, let's make it a little darker. All we're going to do is boost the contrast. Just like before, it's just a matter of boosting up contrast. And the way I'll do that is make brighter little highlights, just like the little white dots on the eyeballs. Let's put little, I'm trying to make these little brush strokes a little bit curled too, to really get the effect that I'm after. I think it's very intimidating trying to do ethnicities that are not your own, because it feels so bad to misrepresent an entire group of people. That does feel genuinely bad.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely the case, but I gotta say, this is good work, man. I like this technique.
Hey, thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate that. It's nice to hear that. Okay, there's nothing overly fancy about that. It was my best shot at putting the little swoopy shapes. Now I'm going to put these smaller highlights, not too bright, or else it's not going to look like black hair as much, and not too colorful, or else.
I mean, let's not forget here that we have effectively transformed a punk rock dude with a blue mohawk into a more feminine, flowy, dark-haired person, to now this person with much shorter, much different type hair. I mean,
that's it. We have all these different things we can do. It's amazing how hair can dramatically affect the look.
A wide range of techniques.
Yeah, that's it. So all these techniques are just my particular method that I based on the understanding of the color. The first thing for me, the first step, I can't emphasize this enough, because when I'm gone and I can't I can't show you my way of doing things, you can carry it further than I ever did, by understanding that we go out, we find the patterns. We are pattern finders. You can find the pattern. So to make this look more wet now, this hair, all I have to do is pick a few spots to make my bright spot. So let's go here. Let's go to that same area and just put little. and I'll make smaller and smaller sections the further I get. And I'll even, you know what, let's do the trick of, this is reflection we're doing now. So we can do it kind of like people said, where you add bits of purple. We can add some reflection color here. Let's do this. Magenta and blue. All right, then we'll get some white. Let's go like this. And maybe some of this, a little more blue, a little more purple, I don't know. Okay. We'll do that color and then maybe even a little bit of white in the middle of that. But we want to put smaller, smaller, in other words, less and less as I am further from my most direct reflection area. So I choose which spot is in between me, where the light would bounce if it were a ping pong ball. If you threw a ball.
Yeah, the purple's a nice touch. What made you want to go with this purpley?
Because someone said it earlier, you know, that they like to put purple, and I just want to show how you can, you know.
Okay.
How you can. If you have a blue sky up there, you very well may see that kind of purplish color in the brightest spot. You might see that. And so it just depends what colors are reflecting off this. And if you have blue reflecting off of anything, then it, when it mixes with other colors, the light turns more purple. So it's a safe bet to go with a blue violet. You know, if you do a more turquoise blue, you may be more disappointed with how natural that result looks if you're going for natural. Okay, so then we can
Emily Antoine says she loves the transition. You're doing great.
All right, sweet. Thank you very much. Thanks for saying that. Okay, so I'm going to just leave that area. I might have gone a bit extreme on those highlights. I don't know. Let's take a little more of this brown. See, the thing is, I can just keep going back and forth. If I feel like I went kind of extreme, I just dab the brown where I've got the white. No big deal. Tone it back. And go like here. Maybe bring it more forward on the head. Like that. Let me get more of my bright highlights in here. A little more of those. Inside the color, remember, separate your shadow, your midtone, your highlight. I'm thinking about that. I'm only putting my bright highlights where I've already staged them. Where I've already suggested that there's hair that is doing that. Okay, now backlit. That's the fun part. Okay, we're going to do the same thing we did on the long straight hair. I'm going to take orange. I'm going to go, and this is a not intense orange. I used my red oxide with yellow. If I would have used red and yellow, it'd be a more intense orange, but I just don't need that. Okay, we're going to take this orange and put it here. Now, before that paint dries, I'm going to do something even more and go more yellow. Let's do a yellower shade of orange on top, on the very inside of those shapes. So the bigger areas, I'm careful not to overlap. I want the gradient that goes from the black to the brown, to the orange, to the yellow, and then to the white. And this is how we backlight. The white goes where I have the yellow. And that's how you get the look of something glowing. That very specific gradient. I'm going to take this dark color and put it right under, right where it meets those, and try to get just a bit more of a gradient. Further enhances that. You don't have to, but the more I create that look of the black turning to those brighter colors, the more it will give me that backlit look, because like I said, eyes are very sensitive. You can see a gradient that is as small as a gnat. Gradients are crazy, the influence that they have on imagery. Okay, now I'm going to go down here. I did that small section so that the paint would stay wet. Now I'll go down here like this. Then we'll put yellow, brown inside of that. Like this. We'll go here. You doing okay there, Brian?
Yeah.
Brian, you all right? You hanging in there?
Hey, Brian, I got good news for you, man. We've been here for about an hour and 25 minutes. That means we're going to be wrapping up soonish.
We're wrapping up. Did anybody send in any pictures to look at?
Dude, nobody wants you to look at their stuff.
No.
No, man, I got stuff for you to look at.
All right, we're going to do that. So here's my backlit gradient. You don't have to go all the way around the whole head, you know. All right, look, we're going to do another video. Next week, we're going to talk about how to do fur, okay? Because I just ran out of time. So next week, let's do fur. Does everybody want to do animals?
Yeah,
It'll
they
be
want to
fun
do
doing
fur,
some-
man. They were asking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
fur.
yeah, we got to do fur, but we are officially out of time. Next week is my very last week in this studio. So, you know, a little bit of nostalgia going on. I feel a bit emotional about saying goodbye to what's been home for the last year or two here, but we're changing locations. And so
The end of one
that's-
chapter is the beginning of the next.
Yep, yep. And so for that reason, that'll be the last one from here, and there may be a pause in our live streams because of that. All right, putting little dabs in here, bringing the hair down the side, just squishing that gradient. There's my backlit hair. What a combo! What a combo! The long hair under. I'm surprised nobody's made fun of that yet.
Zoom out on that.
Oh man, what is that? Okay, we're gonna go in here, and we're gonna take that down. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna do that beautiful long neck. Necks are a cool thing. I love necks. Animals, people like necks. Okay, let's go like this. Let's take just so we can see the. I just want to see the hairstyle. You know, we're just gonna do a real quick brush up here. It's not a touch up. It's a brush up. Because,
Yeah, you know, Dale is also interested in like a feathery look.
feathery look. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Like
bird,
hair.
like
Yeah,
bird.
yeah. A bunch of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we need to.
And they
continue
also
this
said
subject.
that you're such a positive inspiration.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I do
And
care. I do care.
round brush Steve still wants you to put a beard on this person.
Well, let
like
me make it look
obsessively.
nice, just in case I want to use this for a thumbnail instead of the bearded one.
Yes.
Just in case. Just in case. I might go with the bearded one, but that'll be our finishing touch. Our finishing touch will be a beard just for giggles.
All right, I'd love to get to everyone's pictures, but apparently we got to get a beard on this.
No, come on. We're gonna do the
Just-
pictures. This is just barely gonna take a little bit. Here, look, brown. Look, a few seconds. Count to 30. This is all it's gonna take. Okay, we're gonna go like this. We're gonna put some white. We're gonna get a transition color that goes up into here. Let's borrow some of that gray. Go.
I mean, the real question is
Like
what
this.
kind of beard?
Well,
you know,
I'm
'cause-
choosing that. Okay, you don't get to choose.
Oh no, right, no. I'm curious. I'm seeing the beard begin to emerge, you know, and I'm
Yeah.
asking myself,
Okay.
I wonder what I'm witnessing taking shape here. Is
Well, I'm gonna make it
it's
match
like a
the hair.
Fu Manchu? Are these lamb chops? Is
We'll
this
make it
like
match.
is this a neared? Is it
A
a
beard? Whoa, you know some words, brother. I don't know those.
you know, beard people know beard terms.
Yeah, you got one. A neared? What's a neared?
Yeah.
What
A
is
neared, yeah. That's when you don't shave for a year.
that? So not like a hugely
No,
mature-
yeared. That's a yeared. I'm sorry. Neared is when it's almost a beard, and the yeared is when it's.
Okay.
I mean, I'm still learning. I'm not.
I didn't even know there were
sorry,
words
but-
for these things. I didn't even
like
know.
I haven't paid my tuition to the Beard Society
Yeah,
in a
okay,
couple of
okay.
months, so I'm behind on my
Understood.
terms.
All right, to make things quick, we're just going to kind of blend this up to the sideburn, go like that. You know, just kind of a smear. I'm not going to get tons of gradients in there. Go black like this, and look at how just running these colors together gave me the browns that are emerging just by running these colors together. So that's a happy accident there. There we go. What a beautiful.
You know,
beautiful-
Donna says, "OMG, I would have been on my 15th brush type, and you have done all this with one brush."
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you. That's because I learned the cheat codes. You know, you just you get the elements of believability in there, and then the imagination just forgives the rest. It's not exceptional. It's not exceptional ability. It's not magic. It feels magical when you put it on there and it just comes together, but it's all just duplicating these patterns. I'm going to take the lighter spots, put them on the already colored spots.
Amanda says that you gave her the old Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, the old Abe Lincoln, but this one's curly, just like the hair. You know?
That's true. This one's got a little more sass than Abe Lincoln. I don't know if Abe could have worn this one to the office. Like he would have been asked to trim it up.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
Just
you.
because it's there doesn't mean it
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
unruly. It's got to
Hey,
be trim.
I really appreciate everybody's patience as we do this silly bit of humor, but we are looking at a beard here. We are looking at how to. There is
Hair grows out of the chin as well as the scalp. Everyone, this is
Yeah, this is a
how to paint
scientific
hair.
study. Yeah, this is a scientific study. Let's not leave things out. We want to make sure that we cover the bases in this.
You've also captured the phenomenon where the hair that grows out of one's chin is often not the same color.
a
as
little
the hair
bit
that grows out of
more
one's scalp.
colorful, really. Sometimes it tends
Yeah,
bit
maybe a
more
little more
toward red.
red or
Yeah. I think you're right. That was a bit of a happy accident. I put overload. I'd like to say that I was thinking about that, but I was just thinking about my patterns. Just put the pattern there. Same thing. Just understanding the hairline is a big deal with the beard, you know. And you can just look at thousands of photos these days to learn those kinds of patterns. Hey, let's look at your work. We've looked at mine quite enough for this. I hope that there's been something helpful gained. I'd love to see. Love to see what you're working on over here.
yeah, we could start with this guy Aaron here. He
Oh,
sent over
sweet.
his own bearded
Yeah.
individual here.
All right, cool, nice. Hey, good use of light and shadow to get that 3D shape. Did you say Aaron? Aaron, is that what you mean?
Yeah, this is Aaron
Nice.
Mason doing
Nice.
the goblin stuff.
Good work, Aaron.
I believe
Thanks for
this-
seeing. I
I
love
believe
that.
he's
That's
also
fun.
got goblins coming out from behind
Yeah.
his toilet.
Oh yeah, I remember you sent me a picture of that. Yeah, I remember the
Yeah.
goblin picture. Nice job on that. I love it. Love the blue, the different colored socks. Nice touch.
And then we're gonna take it over here to something a little more conventional. Someone's been watching your how to paint water stuff.
It's a good thing you've got a little partner looking out the window behind you, looking out for any interrupters.
I know.
Trolls.
Well, you don't want people sneaking
Guard
up
them-
here.
guard them for trolls.
I'm just adrift in no person's land.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Hey,
like there's no
nice
government
work.
or anything out here. so-
Yeah, that's it. I like this picture. You know what I really love about this is you definitely captured the look of the squiggles that are under the water versus the shapes that are above the water. Nice job capturing that. The colors tell you that. You did a good job capturing.
Yeah, this one is from Ingo Kiel.
Very
Germany.
good. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
got good translucency on your waves. Very good. So it looks like you're working your way up onto the wave. So remember, you can change that white, that bright white, you can start changing to a gray as it goes up onto your wave and make
This
it nice
is the
and 3D.
fifth picture this person's ever painted. Number 5. Right.
Whoa, nice work. Good job. Nice. Keep doing it. Keep going for it and learning those colors. You already have really shown a good understanding of the power of those colors to create translucency in the water. Nice work.
All right, and then just looking forward to the first session that we're gonna do.
I see a doggy. Hey, all right, cool.
Here's
I love
a
that.
little
Yeah. Now
little
that is
fur baby.
so that is a great example of where you really. I'm still going to argue that there is the most color in between the lightest light and the darkest dark, but look how little there is. So you do like the
From hazel,
blackest
this one's
black.
from
Yeah,
hazel.
when you really do have like a black dog or a color black that has no color. Well, the light simply just doesn't turn color. So then the direction, the uniform direction is everything. After all, we can do good looking hair with black and white or with pencil. You don't always need the color. I just want to show you how to do that. This is a outstanding example of how to do it with no color other than the black, just very black fur. Good job. That uniform direction, the dark moving toward the light, how it has uniformity is very well done. I love the brown eyes, good puppy dog eyes.
Yeah, well, now that I've got you all softened up, we're gonna take it on over to something a little more sobering and Mural Joe-ish.
Okay. What's Mural Joe? Oh, nice. I like that. Look at that big
Right,
old ogre
right.
face, man. That's awesome.
So this one is
Love monsters, man. I'm just painting big teeth and giant shapes and emotional expression. I love it. So fun. Good job with the 3D face structure.
Yeah, from Chris Milligan sent this.
Okay, nice job. Now, you've done a real good job with the red tones on the tongue too. You know, it doesn't just get so gray as the light is going into the shadows on the inside of the mouth, so it really looks like the real inside of the mouth. Nice work on it. And I love the teeth.
Dentist, man.
The teeth are the same color as mine. Yeah, not so white. I like it.
I say.
Yeah. Might have to drink a little bit less coffee.
Yeah.
This is water.
Well,
This is water.
By the way,
Yeah.
so we've got
a glitchy computer. We got a little bit of a glitching.
oh, is it glitchy?
You look
Uh-oh.
handsome though. You look very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, while you're taking in my beauty, let me.
Oh,
look
okay,
one
okay.
up
We got
from
another. We got it.
Daniel Hastings.
Hey, nice difference in ethnicities. I like that. Okay, maybe that's not what you were really trying to bring
So
out. But
this is what they did while watching you today.
what?
Just
Whoa!
now.
You have some
You know what I
talent. my
mean?
friend.
They got the mohawk, they
You
got
have
the
ability.
flowy, they got the curly.
Okay, you captured the soft lighted reflection on the mohawk. Awesome. You have the translucent colors on the second picture. These look like kind of three different ethnicities too. I like that.
Yeah,
And
this is our man Death Rocket.
man, you have some serious ability. Nice. I am impressed, and I'm very flattered that you did that watching my video. What an honor to have such a star. I was going to say student, but I should not claim you as a student. You're too good for that. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that picture.
Colleague.
Super cool.
Let's go with colleague.
Colleague, that's it. That's what I'm looking for.
That's $1 million
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
Colleague.
Yeah. And in this context, a viewer that I'm very grateful for. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
And
Super
in
cool.
watercolor.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I'm realizing you did the same. What a good thing for people to see. Same concepts, different medium, different technique. The knowledge transfers. It transfers. And so here's something that I probably could not do as fast as you just did, that watercolor. And it transfers. I love that. Miro
So
Joe
this-
is presenting.
This one's
Oh,
from
look at
Hannah.
Now that is a very well done baby face. I'm turning my head the direction of the baby face.
They're what's up, babe?
I like that. All right, man. Cool. Good job.
So thanks for the tips on red clothing. They say. They
Oh,
haven't
very
really
nice.
worked on the hair yet.
The red clothing looks fantastic. That really turned out good.
What about the backlighting? What do you think about the
Nice.
backlighting? They're curious.
Okay, you could definitely add just and you could artistically add it. It doesn't have to be in the natural photo. You know, wherever you have a dark enough background that it'll show, you know, you can just put a glowing bright orange line, thin line. That's all it needs. That's really all it is just a thin line where the little teeny tiny peach fuzz, you know, catches the light. That's why the big reason that happens. You can do it to the edges of the hair. You can do it all along the face. If it's possible, it might be cool to add a little bit of color anywhere you have skin tone, soft shadow to a soft light. If it's possible to get a little more color in between those two things, a very subtle addition. But don't let me interfere with your beautiful work. Looks awesome. I love that. Did you hand paint those little straps that baby's hanging from? That's very cool. They almost look like real straps coming down in front of the picture. Nice work. Like that baby's crawling up from out behind that easel. It's just crawling up and hanging on some straps on the side. You got like a super 3D look on it. All right. What do you think? Is it time to call it? Is it time to call it, Ben? Uh-oh, we lost your audio.
Oh, am I back?
Oh, he's back. We lost the
Dude.
audio. So I was like, oh no. We gotta
Yeah,
kill
let's
it.
check out
Kill
a
the
few
show.
more. You know, I had a crisis where one of my headphones took over the signal, and it was
Uh-oh,
blah, blah, blah.
uh-oh.
Nobody cares, but I'm back.
Yeah, I had to take off my shoes because my headphones shock my ears when I don't ground my feet.
Dude, how weird is that, man?
Just a bad
Technology is
ground.
weird.
It was shocking.
Dude, check
my
out this thing from Steve.
No way. No way. Is that a painting? I got to get real close and look at that.
I mean, maybe it's
Dude.
like computer work, like
Awesome.
digital. art.
awesome work. Awesome work. Thank you for sharing that. That is top-notch realism. That looks
Yes,
so cool.
Steve is legit.
Yeah, yeah. Is that a famous, forgive me for not knowing, is that a famous actor?
It's a fictional character in a famous show that we
Okay,
I don't know
okay.
if we're allowed to talk about, so
Yeah,
we'll just move on.
Ben knows his media laws here. Man, that looks
Yeah,
amazing. There absolutely nothing I can criticize about that. Excellent
yeah.
example of things we've talked about. Beautiful work. Thanks for sharing that. That is from, tell me the name again. Tell me the
Steve
artist.
C.
Steve C. I'm gonna have to go
Yeah,
and check out more Steve C artwork.
yeah.
That I love looking at very realistic paintings, but don't let me be the guy that said that that's a better way to paint, just a way to paint. But that is amazing. All right, we
All
got any
right,
more?
so yeah, we got it. We got a couple more here, and this one here is coming to you direct from Denise
Hey, all right, I like that picture. And with the photo
to
reference, thank you for attaching the photo reference.
yeah. So they're
Typical
struggling with the
again.
face on this one. They
Mm.
say they haven't touched it in
Okay,
two
okay.
months.
Okay, let me just point you to the same method that I used. I think you will be pleasantly surprised with your results if you get your eyes off of the sharp lines and the obvious details, start looking for the soft shadows and highlights and do those first with similar kinds of colors that I did. A brown and a lighter peachy skin tone that matches your character. Go back and forth because then you've got a mid-tone to a highlight. Do all those soft shapes first. Keep your eyes on the big shapes, not the tiny shapes. Then when you get the big shapes, put the tiny shapes inside of them. And so, I understand that that's kind of like saying redo the face. There's very good things about that face. There's very good things. But if it were my project, that's the method I would do. And so, if you didn't want to redo the location of the eyes, the nose, but what I really want to point out is how you can do a very accurate job with where things are. A much more accurate job if you get the relationship of the large things first, right? So I think everything works that way. You get the big blocks in place, smaller within the larger, smallest within the smaller. You work from large shapes to small shapes. And I think you maybe started out with some details and now you're experiencing what happens when it starts to look like a different person when the details, because facial recognition is a very detailed process. Fine-tuned is the word I'm looking for. Precise. It's very precise. So hopefully that helps you. You did a great job. That a face like that is hard, and it's in that awkwardness of transition phase. So work on taking a block like the cheek, maybe do that, or maybe I should go this way, that lower cheek as the face is here. See what happens when you just look at how the soft light hits that and the nose. Get those big shapes in first and see if that makes a difference for you. Okay, I've talked enough. Cute
All right,
dogs. I love the painting.
check out
Thanks
some of
for
these.
sharing.
Check out some of these hair
Yeah, your hair looks
attempts.
great. Your hair looks so good.
Thank you, thank you.
It really shows what I've
Check
been
out
talking
my hair for.
Hey, look at that.
Then check out this from Amanda, Germany.
Very
Boom.
nice. I love that.
Purple hair.
Purple
Self-portrait
hair.
here.
Yeah. Purple hair. So cool. I like that. So you have the more saturated color coming out of the shadow before, you've got lots of color in between the shadow and the light, and that really helps colored objects. You've done it well, is what I'm saying. You really got the more intense purple in between your lightest and darkest area. Good trick. You did well.
And then we got this one that's also an unconventional color of hair from Donna.
Let's see
She
it.
whipped up,
Let's see
she
it.
whipped up some blue here.
Hey, all right. I like that. Oh, nice fantasy picture. And the shape of the face. Very nicely shaped face. That looks very natural, the proportions. There is a range of locations that is very limited. It starts to not look human when you get outside of those parameters, and you did such a good job. That profile is very relatable, real natural looking. I like it.
All right, and then we're gonna take it home with some non-hair stuff, just a little showing off by
Little showing
Tova,
off.
Rain
We're just gonna
Song.
Hey,
Working
all
on
right,
this
I love
mural.
that.
They
Cool
have been
texture.
learning from you.
Oh, look, you got the dancing tree. I love that. You got the human form on that tree. That's like the
Yep.
dancing tree mural.
Yeah,
Awesome. Good job.
you answered some of their questions, so
Very
they're
good
happy
work.
about that.
Okay,
All right,
sweet.
all
Thanks
right,
for
man. We're
sharing
all
that.
squared away, and Joe's going to take us home.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you all for being here once again. Always a super big pleasure. We're going to do this again, last time in this location next week, 3:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, unless I send out a newsletter otherwise. And so please have a look at my website, muraljoe.com. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I don't need to say more. We'll see you next week.